I used to love how in exercise videos they stage this.
Yes, so gorgeously.
Is there, yes. Now, is there any way that can be full screen?
Yes, I'm going to start the broadcast now. So
and I'm also going to lock the door.
Yep, lock the door.
I'm expecting the handyman to come, but I told him like not to knock, like if the door's locked. So if you see him, you just like raise your finger like wait outside or something. Yeah. Okay, so Wanda.
Oh, we're on, I think.
We're on.
Yay. All right, hold on. Let's see.
Are we recording?
Yes. Wait. Yes. Hold on. Yes,
do we see people? Is that somebody? Is that Anne-Marie?
So let's see. Please say. This is just someone's experience of us. Hold on. This is what we're on.
Okay.
Let me go to it. Let me text Anne-Marie and be like, can you just see if we're on? It looks like we are.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes, so it's all good.
Yeah, so that we would hit this to end,
Okay.
and then we just go over here and hit that to end, and then it will be recorded.
Okay.
So yeah, they can see it. Let me text Anne-Marie and be like, can you just see if we're on? It looks like we are.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes, so it's all good.
Yeah, so that we would hit this to end, and then we just go over here and hit that to end, and then it will be recorded. So yeah, they can see it.
Who's that? Oh, that's me. Yeah. I'm not like doing.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yay, she can see us. Okay. Now let's turn off my notification.
Like so it's not like Zoom. I don't know if anyone's here.
I'm just trying to turn off my notifications.
You nervous?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay.
Let me go into the Zoom as well. All right, we have one person on live stream.
Is he good at it? He's the best. Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you, Amy.
Nice to see you too. I have 2 workout buddies with me today.
Yeah.
Hi, Ella. Hi, Ryan.
Not Bandit, Ryan.
You guys.
Good morning. Hi, Tori. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Tori's helping us with the tech.
You're the best. Thank you. I need help too. It's like nothing short of a miracle that it like launched on my end at all. I was like, oh God, I don't know how this is going to go.
Great.
If it's just us, Ryan, I'm not going to make you do it. I can work us out by
I'm
ourselves.
sure others will come. I don't know if I see them as they appear, right?
Yeah, you definitely, we all should see them, even if they don't have their camera on. It'll show up as like a square. More people? Yeah. You think I'm going to make poor Ryan work on a Sunday just for us? No. More people are
There
coming?
should be more people. There usually are like 3 or 4.
Yeah, at least. All right, I'll pause this and we'll just be ready to go when you go. No pressure. We're good. We're literally on no schedule at all, so do not rush on.
When do the kids go back to school?
Oh, they're already back.
Oh, okay. Summer's over.
We've been back for a month. Yeah.
Oh, man. What grade are you in now, Ryer? They froze.
Answer 6.
6. Wow. Are you in elementary school last year, or is it your first year of middle school?
And so we are.
You're freezing a little, Amy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's probably outside a little. Hang on, let me see if I can bring my camera in. There's better Wi-Fi inside.
There's, just so you know, the carbon monoxide is beeping, but a handyman is coming after this Wunda Live to fix it. So, and he's going to check out something else in the bathroom. So
Awesome.
you're going to hear a beep sometimes during the recording.
No worries.
All right.
I'm going to put, and then that'll be a little less freezing probably
So
down
are
there.
you sure no one's like waiting or anything like that, do you think?
I texted Emery to see because
I just went off the link in the calendar invite, the Zoom link, and then I looked on the app, and I'm not signed into the new app yet. So I looked on the app, but it did say Zoom link, like it was directing people, I think, to the right place.
Okay. So are there's people coming from Zoom and here.
there, yes.
So we have 2 ways of getting this.
Emery said there's one person on the live stream.
Oh, okay.
Yay!
All right, wonderful. Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan. I'm with Tori, and we are going to do our workout. Today's prop are the sliders. So if you don't have sliders, you can use paper plates, and you can maybe even use a sock. It's all good if you don't have the slider, and you don't even need the sliders. It's just an added enhancement, okay? It'll be a lot of fun. So we're gonna start everyone standing. So I'm gonna go over here, and we wanna start straight away. Sliders are kind of in front of you. We're gonna do a nice little roll up. So we're gonna have the sliders maybe, I would say about 2 feet in front of you. You're gonna float the arms up, rib basket stays connected to the abdominal wall. You're gonna round yourself forward like wallpaper peeling off the wall. Keep your knees bent if this feels aggressive on your 2 hamstrings. Then you walk your hands onto that slider. Beautiful. bring your knees down so that we're finding our knees in line with big toe, second toe, about as high as your ankles. Good, and we're gonna keep everything stable for a moment, just without elevating the knees. Round your spine like a dome, or perhaps a Halloween cat, exhaling as you round. Inhale, find a nice lengthened spine where the tailbone and crown of the head stretch actively away from one another. Beautiful. Exhale, we're rounding the spine. We're going to do our best to think of the tailbone and the crown of the head dripping down simultaneously together. And as you inhale, you find that neutral. Tailbone and crown of the head stretch away from one another. If you're feeling crowded in the shoulders or neck, try to slide those shoulder blades down a little bit more, down and around the rib basket. Exhaling, navel pulls in and up. Shins are parallel to the floor. Inhale to find that neutral spine. Ears and tailbone stretching away from one another. Go ahead and softly lower the knees. We're going to go ahead and go into a nice sliding forward where we're going to let the hands open wide, maybe a little wider than your shoulder. Curl your tailbone under and just feel that circumduction, that circular movement, undulating with the spine, tailbone curls under, just kind of warming things up here. Still finding that nice head-tail connection. Tailbone curls under, shoulder blades are most connected to the lats. The serratus, all those muscles of the armpit reach in. Tailbone, crown, head curls under. Maybe go into a little extension of the spine, just a little, nothing too aggressive. You want to maybe find that head-tail connection once again. We go for two more. One more little plank sequence. Let's go one last time. We're going to bring those hands back under the shoulders yet again. So we can reset ourselves once again in that neutral position. So I'd like everyone, if you're not already there yet, let your feet gently point. So we're no longer asking our toes to curl under. You can feel the front of the ankle creases kind of opening up to the mat below you. Fabulous. And then not as much flexion in our spine. Let's just find the tailbone kind of curling under slightly, dripping towards the floor, but that upper portion of the spine is going to stay nice and long. Let's again keep these sliders very still and connected. I find the sliders are helpful in getting us to reach those shoulders into the mid-back. As you exhale, still keeping that lower back slightly round, let's find that low abdominal effort, floating your knees up off the floor. Not too high, please, just about 2 inches. I'm going to softly tap those knees on the floor. Exhale right back up again. Only about 2.5 inches. We're looking for a small lift here and a soft, gentle tap of the knees. Still check in. See that the tailbone is slightly flexed. Upper spine is nice and long. It's a nice stretch for the metatarsals too. No light between the legs. Outer thighs are magnetized. Eye line is down at the floor beneath you, so your neck is long. The continuation of the rest of the spine. We've got 3 more to go. Soft, gentle knee taps. Nothing too heavy or aggressive right now, although this is quite challenging. And then let's regroup. Awesome. We're going to take it onto our back and do a little more spinal articulation in a bridge. So we're going to take our sliders, or whatever you're using today. We're going to place those sliders just a few inches apart, kind of like so that we can place our feet on them. It's not important that your whole foot goes on them. I would just connect the heel at the moment onto the sliders, just so you can feel a little mobilization when we ask you to. I want to just go into a nice bridge. So I'm going to have you lie down on your mat, on your back, pelvis and spine nice and neutral. And we're going to start with a little articulation. So if you think about little gear wheels outside of your pelvis, spinning towards the wall by your head, that's going to start to tilt your pelvis. Then we're going to keep that articulating up. Now you might find, oh, it's kind of challenging not to move the sliders. We want to keep the sliders very, very quiet right now. As we lift the hips up, hold back, arms are imprinted into the floor, and just see that your knees are in line with big toe, second toe. So often they like to flare open, but if we keep that same tracking of the knees in line with big toe, second toe, not only do we feel the backside of the legs, we feel the inner thighs as well in a really cool way. Good. Now from here, we're going to soften the heart away from the chin. We're rolling down. Visualize one vertebra down at a time.
greeting the mat, still keeping the sliders quite quiet, and our tailbone is the very last thing to land. That's amazing, you guys. Let's try that again. Think of those gear wheels, these two tiny spindly gear wheels outside of your hips, spinning to the wall by your head. That encourages that pelvic tilt. Then we're gonna roll up, knees kind of reaching towards the wall by your big toes. Beautiful. Take your arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, you're gonna roll down, arms circle overhead, out to the sides, and as your tailbone lands on the mat, the arms circle back to your hips. Just again, we're gonna roll up, or I should say, curl up. Very nice. Find that lift of the seat via these creases under the buttocks. Arms lift overhead. Circle the arms out to the side as you articulate that spine, one vertebra down at a time, and then let that tailbone land nice and heavy. Good, we'll keep the feet on the sliders as they are. We're gonna move on to some more of a sagittal plane supine exercise. So we take our arms up, interlace the fingers. The hands are gonna go behind the head, right where the base of the skull meets the neck. And let's take a moment and just float your hair off the floor 3/4 of an inch. So while I know you might want to turn your head and look at me in the screen, right now I want you just to see the ceiling above you. And note that your hair is maybe only lifted 3/4 of an inch off the floor. If you give me a little traction stretch, maybe slide the hands a little bit more up near that occipital groove, you might even feel more stretch and length in that spinal column. Good. Our hands are like a hammock, cradling the weight of the head. Now with length and attention to the crown of the head, let's maybe find more stretch in the spine. We're gonna lift the head, neck, and shoulder blades off of the mat now. Hold, maybe your eye line goes a little bit lower than the ceiling. Hold that, maybe discover a crease existing right beneath your sternum. And then with all that length and attention that you gave me on the way up, we're gonna find that length and attention as we go back down. Good, so we're being a little fussy because this is gonna get us really where it counts, nice and deep in the deepest layer of abdominals. So I'm gonna ask you once again to lengthen through the crown of the head, lift the hair maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then find more stretch in the spine, out through the crown of the head as you lift up another couple of inches. Try not to create a single wrinkle on the front side of your t-shirt. And then as you exhale, give yourself that little bit of traction stretch as you come back down. I'm gonna ask you to go ahead, keep moving at your own pace. Something we don't wanna find ourselves falling into is this idea of pushing the chin to the chest and crunching up. Crunch is actually a dirty word here. We like to find length and intention when we peel our upper body off of the surface of your mat or the floor. We want to find length and intention as we go down as well. Good. I'm going to layer on just a couple more things in just a moment. Let's go ahead and inhale. Find that nice length. Maybe you create spaces between the vertebrae. Hold. Checking in. See in your mind's eye or with your two eyes that your belt line is level. You're going to slide your right leg nice and long via the back line of the leg, stretching. That's on the inhale. As you exhale, you're going to draw that leg and slider back to start. So let's stay on the same side. We're going to inhale via the back line of the right leg, elongating. We're stretching that right leg nice and long. As you exhale, the hamstring and the low deep abs, draw that leg back into start. Keep moving on your own pace. What we want to really watch out for is as you're stretching that right leg long, we're not letting our hips kind of fall to one side more than the other. So if one leg reaches long, try to discover that you still have weight even on both buttocks the same, right? We don't want to find ourselves rocking to one side of our shoulder blades or one half of our spine. Beautiful. So there's a nice sense of a crease I want you to experience at the top of your right hip as you're sliding that right leg, right foot slider back to start. It's good to put a little bit of pressure on that slider. You feel that nice rooted connection, fires up the back of the leg. We have just two more here, friends. Excellent work. And we have one more, and we get to lengthen everything down. That was great. Bring your knees into your chest, grab the back of your thighs. Let's rock ourselves up to sitting. We'll keep those sliders where they are, and now we'll bend you back the other way. So we're gonna lie down prone on our stomach, on our pelvis. Legs can be about 4 inches apart. That helps keep the low back comfortable. Open palms like starfish are going to be on your sliders. And I'd like everyone to take a moment and put the forehead skin on your mat. So maybe you don't see me in the screen at the moment. You can hear my verbal cueing, okay? So before we start, like I said, we're going to bend you back the other way. We're going to articulate the upper portion of the spine slightly into extension. I'd like everyone to go ahead and just simply push firmly your pubic bone into the mat. You don't necessarily have to over squeeze the glutes. But if you push the pubic bone into the mat, you'll feel that nice sense of openness in the lower back. From here, we slide your scapula down. Scapula and shoulder blades mean the same thing. Then you're going to think of pushing a marble away with the tip of your nose. Keep that same reach through the crown of the head and tops of the ears that we mentioned in the previous exercise. And you're lifting up, not super high. We want the bottom rib on the floor. We don't want to come so high up that our bottom rib is lifted off. Check in that you're not efforting through the arms, hands, or forearms. Shoulders are really plugged in nicely to the mid-back. And be careful your eye line isn't straight ahead at the wall by your hands. Keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine, so maybe you're looking a few inches forward of your fingers. And then as you exhale, we're going to keep those shoulders stabilized. We'll reset the forehead onto the mat. When the forehead touches, we're welcome to relax those shoulders. Try that again with flow. So on one breath, we're going to slide the shoulders down, push that marble away. We're inhaling to come up. We're not doing a push-up, so don't effort with those arms. Exhale and lengthen back down. All the while, the pubic bone is pressing firmly into the mat. Layering up, we're inhaling to come up. Exhale, stretch those arms long. Careful not to elevate the shoulder blades. Inhale, bend the elbows in, still finding lots of reach and length through the tops of the ears and crown of the head. So we're stretching the arms long, exhaling. When you exhale, try to lift your belly button a little bit away from the surface of your mat. Inhale, can you feel those armpit region muscles drawing those elbows in as you slide these sliders towards you? Inhale to stretch, or exhale, excuse me, as you stretch. Inhale to draw those elbows in towards the sideline of your body. Let's go for just two more. Beautiful, keeping that sternum lifted, neck in line with the rest of the spine. We have one last one to go here. And then we're going to go all the way back down to where we started. Let's take a quick second, go into a little child's pose, just rounding things out a little bit here. And then we're going to go back onto our back, okay? We're going to do a little exercise here without the sliders, getting more focused in on that waistline. So as you lie down on your back, I'd like you to go ahead and think of the low abs and psoas and inviting those knees up into what we call a tabletop position. So tabletop, that's where our knees are directly over our hips, our feet are gently pointed, all right, and our shins are parallel to the ceiling. We float the arms up like before, hands go behind the base of the skull. And just like we did a couple exercises ago, we're going to lengthen the head, neck, and shoulders up. Give me a little waistline rotation to the right. Invite that left leg to extend nice and long. Exhale, bend that left knee back into tabletop. And with that same length and intention we talked about earlier, set that head softly down. Let's repeat that. A little more flow here. So we're inhaling as we come up and rotate. Exhaling as we're drawing ourselves back into start. Beautiful. Maybe find lots of opportunity to increase the length of your spine every repetition that you perform. Let's check in that we're not rocking more weight to that right half of the pelvis. The left side of the pelvis is anchored to the floor solidly. I want everyone to wrap their mind around the fact that we have two fun changes on deck. I'm here with you. Happy Sunday. It's going to start in about one more repetition. We're going to curl up and hold that rotation, my friends. Left leg is nice and long. Good. And now we're going to not change the angle of this right leg, but from the right hip, we lower our right toe to the floor. We exhale, draw that right knee back into tabletop, stopping when the knee arrives over that hip. So try not to change the bent angle of the knee. We're moving just from that hip socket while we hold that upper body in rotation, combined with flexion. My hands are shaking. I have no idea why, but it's a good thing when something's shaking, right? So we're going to go down as we breathe in. One change coming up. I know. I'm doing it with you folks. You've got this. Bring that right knee back to tabletop. Hold everything. Now just lower your left foot 2 inches. Lift that left leg 2 inches. Teeny tiny. I'm not looking for big kicks, folks. Just teeny tiny. Try to lift that right shoulder blade a millimeter off the mat. We have 4. We have 3. I'm going to get you up to standing in 2. And 1. Excellent work, you guys. Grab the back of your thighs. Let's rock ourselves up to sitting, and then we're going to bring ourselves all the way up to standing. Fantastic. So let's get back to our sliders, okay? I only want a slider underneath the right foot for right now. So we're going to do a single leg squat with the side lunge combination. So if you would please, everyone, I'd like you to find that you have the right ball of foot on top of that slider, no slider under the left, hands on your hips just to start. Good. So from here, let's do a couple squats without moving any sliders or legs sideways. Can we all just kind of sense our weight is even on both feet, even though there is maybe a surface under your right foot that's not under your left? You'll find a crease at the very top of your hips. Your tailbone is lengthening nice and long towards the wall behind you near the floor. We're just going to go down as we exhale. I would like everyone here just to take a moment and pause. It's always very likely that we tend to grip or tighten the buttocks. But if you really dissipate any holding here, do you feel how that broadens your sitting bones? Right? That also helps to soften your thigh muscles, which are called quads. So if we think of those sitting bones super broad and wide, you get this engagement of the low abs pelvic floor. That's really cool. Good. Now, still focusing on the sitting bones to rise up, let's envision those sitting bones narrowing, and that's going to bring you up to standing. Your knees follow suit soon after, and repeat that. So we're going to broaden our sitting bones as we go down on the exhale. We're going to narrow our sitting bones to rise up. So it's a different kind of experience versus going up and down with a lot of efforting through the legs and feet. I'm kind of doing it incorrectly at this moment. It's not a bad thing, it's just not what we're going for. So I really want you to find that base of the pelvis, broadening and widening and inviting that squat to occur. And then the base of the pelvis narrows to bring you back up. Good, excellent. Let's go ahead and layer on. So I'm going to take our arms out to the side. You're going to go ahead and as you exhale, you're going to crease like you've been doing. Hold the squat here. Stay low, bell line level, via the outer line of your right outer thigh. You're going to stretch that leg out to the side, absorbing the right knee into the quadricep. Feel your upper inner right thigh magnetizing to your midline, and that's summoning the right knee to come back in. So we're going straight outside. Your eye line isn't watching your leg or foot that's on the slider. Your eye line is maybe 3 feet in front of you on the floor because our neckline is on that long diagonal with the rest of our spine. Most of the weight now can be on this left supporting foot, okay? On the entire sole of the foot. Excellent. Let's layer on some rotations. So still staying on that diagonal line. I'm gonna have you rotate to the right like a weather vane. Just the spinal column is really doing the rotation. De-rotate as you extend that right leg. Good. So I'm gonna have us now change the breath just to differentiate the experience. Let's exhale as we press that slider out. Inhale as we rotate, inner thighs magnetize together as the knee bends. Good. All the weight, 98% of the weight is on that left foot, right? Lots of length going through the spinal column. Let's go for 3 more. We have one little change coming on deck. Lots of fun here. Last 2. Hold, de-rotate, but let's invite both arms up. Now, I'm going to ask you to lift your left heel up as high as your right. Good, so just glance down, make sure your big toes are lined up. There is space between the legs and feet. Can you find that broadening of the sit bones we talked about? Good, and let's play with that heel height, okay? So you're going to lower the heels, maybe 2 millimeters, lift the heels a single centimeter, all 10 of your toe pads melting into their respective surfaces. Arms are nice and broad. Hold it here. Hold that hover. Try to relax any quadricep burn you're feeling. Keeping the shoulders level, you scissor one arm down, doesn't matter left or right. You're going to scissor the other arm down. And we're moving the arms equidistant, meaning we don't want one way up by our head while the opposite is only slightly lowering. They're moving evenly. Checking that you're not tightening the glutes. This is much harder with one slider beneath one foot than it is with 2 feet on a stable floor. So you're doing a great job. Shoulder blades staying level, melting down and around the rib basket, rib stitch to the down the wall. This is our last 2. Ready for another plank. And lower those heels, rise up. Really good job, everybody. Let's get back down onto the floor, but I'd like you to bring those feet, the toes curled under on the 2 sliders here. Good, we're gonna find, if we could please, once again, that nice 4-point kneel. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. I can't emphasize enough the importance of discovering that length of neutral in your spine. Even though we don't see an external change or movement, internally, you always want to feel like your tailbone and the crown of the head are stretching in 2 opposing directions. Good, so from here, working as evenly as possible, we're gonna stretch both legs nice and long into your longest plank possible. Go ahead, let's hold here. I know you guys are working your ass off, I appreciate that. Lift your heart between your shoulder blades. Try not to allow there to be too much arcing in that lumbar spine. We're gonna lift up, support the lower back with our abdominals. You gotta keep breathing, your eye line can be down. You do not have to straighten your neck right now to look at me in the screen. But I would like you to check in that your elbows are not hyper-locked. Give me a little breath of air in those elbow creases. Do you feel, give me that, not a bend, but a little breath of air. Do you feel how that connects really nicely to the mid-back? Good, exhale, crease at both tops of the hips. Draw both knees in towards your chest. But do keep that spine and pelvis neutral. We're inhaling and stretching the legs nice and long. Beautiful, so as we draw the knees in, I want you not to curl the tailbone under. So that might inhibit how deep the knees come in, no big deal. Woo! Aren't sliders vicious, right? Think of your arms, your palms open, like 2 starfish suctioning up through your mat. That's gonna help you find that mid-back connection as well. We're going for 3 more. Inhale, find length as you return to that plank. Last 2, everyone. You guys are doing great. Last 1. And we're gonna bring those knees down. Take another little child's pose. Excellent work, you guys. Let's go ahead and have a seat. We're gonna do a little teaser today. And we're gonna use the sliders under our hands. There's something about the hands holding the sliders when the arms are straight behind you. We don't wanna feel like we're hinging in our shoulder joints. So you want to maybe open your hands a little wider, okay? They don't have to be straight, directly pointed back. They can be slightly angled at a 45-degree angle with fingertips. Beautiful. So from here, right away, you want to feel the low abs working. We want to avoid kind of dropping into the shoulders, such as I'm doing now. Thankfully, sliders will help prevent you from falling into that default. Just go ahead and lift through that sternum. Beautiful. I'm going to ask everyone to take their eye line up. Now, you're going to curl your tailbone under like an upside down paper clip, just a tiny bit. Maybe the sliders move out a little bit. Maybe your hands go a little wider as a result. That's all good. You don't want to feel like the shoulder joint is impinged or pinchy. Good. I'm going to ask you to take one leg up, shin parallel to the floor. Take the other leg up. Beautiful. You can always push the inner borders of the feet together and have some space between your knees if you feel like you're gripping. And I want you to recline back 3-4 inches. Engage your abs, not your hands, to come back up with that lifted proud chest. So really magnetize those outer thighs. Keep that connection to your midline between your legs and feet. Do your best to keep your visual line up high. We're not ever asking you to collapse or drop towards the floor and then try to lurch back up again. So there's always a strong connection of your shoulder blades to that mid-back. And yes, lots of length as per usual, out through the crown of the head towards the upper wall behind you. We're going for 3 more. Woo, I love it. What's the breathing? Let's inhale to find length on the way back. Exhale, navel pulls in and up to draws forward. Let's go one more time. Legs are still. And then we're back. Really, really good, guys. Let's go ahead. We get to lose the sliders for a quick second. We're gonna go ahead and get that crisscross waistline effort done on the other side. So once again, let's find that neutral spine and pelvis. We're gonna reach the arms up, interlace those hands together. Hands go behind the base of the head. Guys, do you remember? It's not just a simple matter of jamming that chin to the chest. That wouldn't be what we're going for. So I'm gonna ask you to float that hair off 3/4 of an inch, then float up another couple inches with lots of length and bring to the crown of the head. Beautiful. And then lengthen back down. Let's add that crisscross. So we're gonna bring both legs to tabletop next. Beautiful. We're gonna peel up, both legs in tabletop, but as you peel up and rotate to the left, you extend your right leg long, check your left knee is staying hovering over the left hip, and then exhale to come back down. Again, nobody's collapsing to the mat. We're finding tension on the way down. Good, so your spine, in addition to you feeling like you got a lot of workout in your waistline, your spine should feel like it has grown a couple inches by the end of this sequence here. We're inhaling to rotate. Make sure you keep that right side of the hip anchored to the mat. Exhale to come out of it. And let's just not kick the leg straight. Feel the back line of the right leg, inviting that leg to straighten. Then the psoas and low deep abs. Invite that right leg to bend to tabletop to lower down. You guys are doing so amazing. We have 2 changes on deck if you recall from the first side. We've got this. Very nice, friends. All right, let's hold that upper body up, guys. I'm gonna have you hold that rotation. Moving from the left hip, do that toe tap. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. The right leg stays straight. Inhale to lower. The right leg staying out at 45 degrees. Find that suspender-like muscle, the psoas, inviting that left knee to come into tabletop, eccentrically lengthening to lower that left leg down. Left shoulder blade is lifted off your mat by 2 millimeters. One more before a final change. You guys, I'm doing it with you. Hold it. Woo! We're gonna lower that right foot about 2 inches. Lift that right leg and foot 2 inches. Real teeny tiny. We just did 2. Can I get 6 more from you? I know I can. That line is level. Weights even on both sides of the pelvis. What is 3 more? We can do it. Let's do 2. And 1. Grab the back of your thighs. You guys are all winners today. Grab the back of your thighs. Just come up to standing. Let's get that squat side lunge done for the other side. So, we're gonna stand. Again, this time we're gonna put the slider under only the left foot, the left ball of the foot. You might wanna just check in. Let's say there's about 3 inches of space between our 2 feet. All 10 toes shining straight ahead. So I'll move this out of the way. Good. Let's go ahead and find our hands are at our belt line just for a moment. And try to find a crease at the top of your hips, a split second or 2 before you bend the knees this time. Right, so let's start together again. I'm gonna be a little fussy with you. Hang in there. So we find a crease at the top of our hips, even before we bend the knees by a split second. Exhaling to lower. Right, so we're not initiating the movement by simply bending the knees. And let's take that moment here at the bottom of the squat. See that tailbone is long. We so often find ourselves curving that tailbone under. I'm gonna ask us to, before we straighten the knees, first, let's trade that crease to the booty line. See if you can lift up with the booty line instead of just the knees and feet. Let's do that again. Trade the crease to the front side of the hips. Exhaling to lower down. Inhaling to rise up. I'm gonna offer you this. Arms can sweep up on this time. Now, arms are up like a V. What's important is, and then arms will sweep down to lower. What's important as we go down is that we're not just swinging our arms upward. Feel like the shoulder blades sliding down the back line of the torso is what's responsible for these arms raising up. Beautiful. Can you feel that help you lengthen through the spine more? We're gonna exhale and hold the next one down. Fantastic. Again, we have that tailbone nice and long. Good. We're gonna shift more weight now to the right foot. Take your arms out to a T as you stretch that left leg long. That left heel is gonna be lifted, that's all good. Then raise the arms back up to that V as you summon that left knee to bend back into where it came from. I just found myself kind of rocking my weight to the outer border of the right foot. We want to maintain weight across all 4 corners of that right foot, across the entire sole of the right foot as we're doing this. The arms are cumbersome. Just keep your hands on your hips, completely fine with that. The main event of the exercise is how we're moving very proximally from where this femur head, that's a thigh bone head, attaches to the dome of the left pelvis. Beautiful. Can you feel that inner thigh magnetism as you're drawing that left leg back in? Beautiful, guys. Let's add that rotation now. So we're going to rotate to the left. As you bend that left leg, de-rotate as you extend that left leg. So the rotation, as I said before, is less about doing something with the arms. It's not the arm show. It's about finding that waistline rotation. If you did that last exercise, you should be a pro at this. Keep that length occurring through the spine, tailbone and crown of the head stretching away from one another. We have one more change coming up. Beautiful. Let's go ahead. Keep those arms open. Let's find ourselves in that squat. See if you can dissipate any tension in the butt cheeks a little more. Lift your right heel now, so it's the same height as your left. Now, there might be a little unevenness in the feet surface. That's okay. We'll work with that. Let's just find the heels at the same height. See that your knees didn't flare out. They're still in line with big toe, second toe. And where's your heel height best? Should we lift 2 more centimeters? Maybe lower a millimeter? Find out where it works for you, where you also feel this magnetism between the inner thighs. Beautiful. Now just hold that. We're going to do a little air plank. So collarbones are wide as we close the arms to shoulder width. Shoulder blades drip down as we open those arms. Keep your torso quiet. Keep the heels at the same height. Your eye line is maybe 4 feet in front of your big toenails. Beautiful. Feel that tailbone, crown of the head still stretching in opposite directions. Your weight is even across all 10 toe cushions. We got 3 more. Beautiful, friends. Exhale as you close the arms to shoulder width. Inhale to lift. And we have 1 more. Take those arms wide, lower the heels, come all the way up to standing. Good work. Let's get back down onto our back. Good. Let's go ahead. We have that single leg slide to the other side that we did towards the beginning of our workout. So what I'd like everyone to do is just, again, find those sliders just spaced out, maybe 2 inches apart. Good. I like the heels on. I think that's really good. But again, I have size 11 feet. So these sliders don't always work in my favor. All right, so from here, we're going to take a moment, find that belt lines level once more. Bring the hands behind the head. We're going to peel that upper body up like we talked about earlier. When you find that upper body flexion, can we take a moment and feel that magnetism I mentioned in the last exercise existing between your 2 inner thighs? So we're not generically just holding our knees bent. Feel this magnetic force field like in Star Wars between your 2 thighs. Now you're going to inhale via the back line of the left leg. Stretch that leg long, absorbing the left knee into the quadricep. Apply a little pressure with your heel into the slider as you bend the left leg, returning the leg to start. Inhaling to stretch. Exhaling, navel pulls in and up as you draw that slider in. And something I want you to think about is when you straighten the leg, keep moving at your own pace. Don't let the leg just go veering anywhere the slider takes it. I want you to extend that leg on a track, like a monorail track. Feel that psoas. What an opportunity you have to actually feel that suspender-like muscle, the psoas, instead of the grippy hip flexor, inviting that leg back in. Check in with your hands. Let the hands support the weight of the head so your neck isn't overworking. We're just going to go for 2 more. Inhale to slide it long. Exhale to pull in. Once you got both feet there, go ahead and lengthen back down. Fantastic. Okay, my friends, let's get a little rotation in. So what I'd like you to do is just take a moment, sit at the top of your sit bones, feet are super duper flexed, and I don't really mind if your knees are bent. I encourage that actually. It doesn't matter if your legs are totally straight. What matters is that we have our sit bone connection to the floor or the mat. Kind of like a cell phone charger plugs into the wall, so too should your sit bones plug into the floor. We're not going to be utilizing the sliders for this exercise. Let's just find those arms nice and long. Ribs are stitched to the abdominal wall. With lots of length, we're going to inhale as we twist to the right. Exhale, come back to center. Good. And then we're going to alternate between that and what we call a saw. We're going to inhale as we rotate. Now think of sawing your left hand outside of the pinky toe of your right foot. Let's check in that left hip is anchored. And then as we roll up, we want to make it so that our head is the last thing to float up. We're looking to the side of the room. and then come back square and center. Again, we're gonna twist to the right, just a simple twist, finding that elevation. Exhale back to center. Inhale, twist, add that saw. Fingers are reaching in opposite directions. Roll up sequentially, come back to center. Again, inhale, find billowy pockets of airspace, inflating between the vertebrae as you twist, and then exhale, we round. Inhale, head floats up last, and return, just alternate between the neutral spine twist and that saw. You can move at your own pace. Keep the knees bent if you're starting to feel grippage in your hip flexors. Let's go one more time. Exhale back to center, only going to the same side. And then let's bring it back. Let's roll all the way up, and we get into a push-up before we get to the other side. We don't need sliders for this one. Good. What I want us to do is take a moment, and I know you are a strong crew here, so you may want to go right to this plank. But you know what? You're actually going to feel those abdominals just a little bit more. If you open the knees about shoulder width, let your shins anchor very, very heavily into the earth. Keep in mind, I don't want to see the booty kind of pitching back like you see mine doing. Just find that full hip extension. Neck is long, right, without cranking in the back. And the other thing to avoid is kind of dropping into the shoulder grip like I'm doing right now. I'm kind of hanging out in the joints. So let's find that connection. I'm sure you feel some effort in already, especially more in the abs than if you had your legs up, okay? Yeah, so we're gonna hold all of that. Toenails are heavy, just as heavy as the kneecaps are. As we bend the elbows, I want us to exhale. Elbows are bending more in towards the side of your torso versus out wide to the sides of the room. As you inhale, slide the scapula down, absorb the elbow bones into the triceps, coming right back up. Beautiful. Now, in terms of the hands, we have palms open. Think of, I said this before, Amy gave me this great cue. Think of your palms open like two starfish, and there's like this suctioning cuppage going on. I hope that's making sense to you. You're almost drawing the energy of the earth up through the roots of the palms, up through your arms, and into your mid-back. Do you feel that? The hands connection to the earth is quite important. I want you to do your best not to lift your toes as you go into this push-up, right? Keep those shins, metatarsals, toenails anchored heavy. It's not about touching the chest to the floor. Fine if that happens, but it's about not losing that shoulder girdle stabilization when you're coming closest to the floor. Let's go two more. Keep reaching, as I said before, energy out through the crown of the head and the tops of the ears. Keep sliding those shoulders down as you extend the arms. Beautiful job. Oh my God, that was great. Love that. In many ways, much more than a straight leg push-up. I hope you feel those triceps on fire. I sure do. Okay, let's get, we don't need the sliders, but let's get that spine twist saw combo done for the upper side. So you bend your knees so we're not feeling grippage here. You always can sit on like a phone book too, or some kind of elevation that's firm to help you if you are feeling that grippage. You take the arms out long. And here's a fun fact, the arms grow from thoracic vertebra 6. So we really want to think about the origin of arms coming from our mid-back versus from our shoulder cups, okay? So here we are. We're just going to go ahead and inhale as we do a basic spine twist, lengthening the crown head to the ceiling, exhale and come back to center. Something I want you to watch out for is that your hips and legs and feet aren't shifting. I'm doing it incorrectly. I got this shifting going on, which means I'm not stabilizing through the pelvis and targeting the full wrap effort enough. So we're going to keep those sit bones plugged into the floor, nice and quiet. Let's incorporate that sauce. We're going to inhale to rotate. Good. Reach your right hand to the outside of the left pinky, looking down at your left thigh. Roll up nice and tall so the head floats up last, and then come back to face center. Let's rotate to that left, just a single spine twist. Exhale to center, moving forward a little bit. Navel pulls in and up as we round that spine. Keep that right hip anchored as heavily to the floor as your left hip is. Inhale, find even more length through the spine as you roll up nice and tall. Exhale back to center. Inhale as you twist. Exhale back to center. Inhale as you twist. Are you feeling taller? Exhale, sawing off that pinky toe. And then rolling up nice and tall. Back to center. Let's do that one more time. One more back. And back to center. Here we go one last time. We're going to rotate as we twist. And then exhale. roll all the way up, and we're back. Excellent work, you guys. Let's cool it down a little bit. So I just want you to grab one slider for a moment. We're gonna do a mermaid or a merman stretch. Good, so your legs are in this position, where you've got, we'll start with our left foot against our right knee, and we're gonna have our left hand on the slider, okay? Let's make it so that left hand is just ever so slightly forward of your left shoulder. Okay, it does not matter that your right butt cheek is touching the mat, but you do want to feel that right hip kind of releasing towards the floor, okay? Good, so we're just going to take that right arm up, find length through that spine, and we're just going to keep neutral spine with even length on both sides of the waist as we go up. And then with the armpit region muscle here, these guys are friends here, we're going to come back upright. That's working in tandem with these waistline muscles on the right. Let's do that again. So we're still with the neutral spine, lots of length, forming almost like a letter T with your arms. And then we're coming right back up, tall and vertical. Again, don't force or try to jam that right butt cheek down to the mat if it doesn't naturally touch. All right, let's continue like that. We're going to find that nice long line. Keep your slider very quiet, your left arm quiet. As if your right middle fingernail were scraping the inside of a cylinder. We're going to thread that right arm under the left armpit, let your eye line follow the right hand. De-rotate, give me a little more of a D-slide and side bend. Come back to this neutral line. Let's do that again. We go into that scrape the cylinder. Inhaling as we twist. Exhale to come out of that rotation. Inhale, we need a nice side bend here. Exhale, come back. Come all the way up, nice and tall. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's go ahead and do a little hip release. So we don't need any slider for this. We're going to lie down on our back. Excellent. Arms are long, wrists are facing the ceiling. Just let the legs open. Don't force it. We're just sliding the legs along the mat or floor. Engage those abs. 2, come back. You could use a slider, but if you do, I would only use 1. I'm just discovering this on the fly here. So we open the legs. Pelvis is stable. Careful not to overarch as both legs extend. And then press some pressure into the slider if you happen to be using one as you draw the knees back in. So we're not trying to do some kind of leg choreography so much as we are moving through the hip sockets, okay? So again, you can do the slider or without. Maintain that turnout until your legs are all the way straight. It's easy to overarch in the back as your legs go out straight. You want to not do that. And then we're going to bring it out back. Let's get that other side done. So we're going to take that mermaid, merman sitting position that we did on that first side. We have a right hand on the slider. Good. And again, remember, we're trying to jam. We're forcing that, or force that left butt to the floor. Let's take a moment, lift that left arm up. Let the slider invite you to lean into that nice diagonal. Actually see the world on a diagonal line. Check in that you're not compressing that shoulder socket or letting your right rib basket sink or sag. And then as if there was a little tight string around your middle finger, let it float you back up to sitting tall. Good. We'll do that again. So we're going to slide out, lots of equal length on both sides of the waist. The waistline is a proximal way we can come up to sitting. Or if we're thinking distally, we can leave a little string around our left fingertip, pulling us up. Just feel that length. Let's layer on. We're going to go out into that nice long diagonal lean. We're going to keep the slider very quiet. We scrape the inside of a cylinder with our left hand. But you notice what's really happening is we're wrapping that left rib basket almost underneath the right armpit. And then we're de-rotating, check it in, shoulders are stabilized. Add that side flexion. Come back to that nice neutral line. Again, we'll do that again. We're going to scrape the inside of cylinder, find that waistline rotation. Out of that, find that letter T balance. Take that left hand overhead, going into a little deeper stretch. Just bring that back up. Let's finish the way we started today. So we're going to come out to our knees. And we're going to just go ahead and let our hands hang nice and heavy. Let your knees be bent if that's feeling aggressive with legs straight. And what I'd like everyone to do is just let your arms be like weeping willow tree branches. Maybe do a gentle sway if that is your inspiration. You don't have to. All 10 toes shining straight ahead. Then we're going to slowly roll up. Let your head be the very, very last thing to float up. Think of stacking those billowy pockets of airspace between the vertebra, one on top of the other. That is going to float up last. We're going to take a moment, let the blood rush back down in case it needs to. We float the arms up. I'm going to face you. Beautiful. And then we're going to extend that upper thoracic, much like we did towards the top of the class, lifting that sternum without overthrowing the neck back. Find that verticality through the spine as you reset those arms upwards. Let's do that again. Navel's pulling in and up. Your sternum is lifted. There's support in your lower back. We're bringing ourselves back up to nice and tall. Let's do that one more time. Take space. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through pursed lips. And voila. Thank you, everybody. That's your class today. I want to thank everyone for joining me this Sunday morning. And I hope you all had a wonderful time with me. I sure did with you. And I'll be back next Sunday. So I'll see you all then. And thank you, Tori, who's been very helpful with the tech. She's awesome. Everybody's awesome. So thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the day. Good to see everyone. Hi, Amy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We gotta get your face in there. So Ryan.